I need emergency assistance.
What's your location?
The Wind River Indian Reservation.
I'm Jane Banner, FBI.
Welcome to Wyoming.
You by yourself?
It's just me.
That's Corey Lambert. He's the one who found the body.
This is a homicide.
I knew that girl. She's a fighter.
They have 6 officers to cover an area the size of Rhode Island. Maybe you can help.
I only know what the tracks say.
What is it that you do again?
Hunt predators.
So why don't you come hunt one for me then? Why would a teenage girl be out here? What's she running from?
You're looking for clues, but you're missing all the signs.
Should we wait for backup?
This isn't the land of backup, Jane. This is a land of you're on your own.
Oh my God.
You won't get the answers you're looking for, no matter what you find.
Why would your daughter run from home?
I don't know why. He didn't tell me.
Out here. You cannot blink. Not ever.
This place. What it takes from us. What it took from you.
I got lucky.
Luck lives in the city.
Get your hand off that weapon!
Luck don't live out here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another thrilling episode of your favorite podcast, Fine Movies, Fine Spirits, where today I will be discussing with 2 of my favorite people in the world, the 2017 Tyler Sheridan film, Wind River, starring Elizabeth Olsen, Jeremy Renner, Graham Greene, and John, not Ken Barenthal, even though he's in it for a good 40 to 55 seconds. But as I said, I'm doing it with other people, which is the best way to do it. Joining me, as always, this man who I am going to, as a favor to him, not mention that 3 out of the 4 names that of the actors that I brought up are also in Marvel TV shows or movies. I'm not going to mention that. And I'm doing that for him. Mr. Christopher Morris, how are you doing this evening? And what are you drinking? Are you drinking?
Thank you, Michael. Yep, I do appreciate that. I'm drinking a Cat's Meow IPA.
Ooh, like a lion?
I was going to say that's why it's fitting, like a mountain lion. So it does come into play. So very excited to do this feel-good movie.
Yes, this is a very on theme, the drink is, I should say. Feel-good movie, I'm not sure. And of course, joining us, as always, I'm staring at his ceiling of some random room in his house through his iPhone. A man who earlier this evening I saw in real life. We grabbed dinner, and in front of the table, I made him name the name of our podcast. And after 2 attempts, he got it right. Mr. David Corsetto, how are you doing? And how's the enchilada holding up?
Enchilada's holding up fine. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
Very good. And are you drinking anything this evening?
After drinking my mojitos tonight, I'm just drinking water now.
Did have a few mojitos at the restaurante.
Yeah.
Next time you just lie and say I'm drinking them, because we can't see you anyway.
True.
Oh yeah, I'm drinking another mojito right now.
Very good. I am not on theme at all. I'm drinking a pineapple hard seltzer. Very seltzery. So this is another one of these movies where it seems like every time it's a movie that's actually really good, but not like a big budget superhero movie, it's something that Chris recommends to me to watch. And then I eventually watch it, and then we bring it to Dave, and he's never seen it or heard of it, and then he sees it, but we know he's going to love it. I think he loved it. David?
I loved it, but it was also excruciating to watch. But I loved it.
I'll give you that. Very good.
Almost
Chris,
like
how
I
did
have
you?
music, movies. Oh, movies.
How did you
Come across this?
come across this? Is it because of Tyler Sheridan?
I think Taylor. I think it is.
I wrote down Tyler, didn't I?
I'm one to talk.
Oh, Ken.
Yeah, but I don't remember how I first came across it. It probably was. Which was the first of the Taylor Sheridan movies to come?
The first was Sicario.
So,
And then-
which I loved
Yeah.
also.
Hell
And
and High Water was the next one.
It was, but I know this. I think this was the first one that he wrote himself and directed, and so I just had heard good things and watched it and was blown away. And as we'll talk about it, it was surprisingly emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, that text came from Chris earlier this week. How, hey, this movie is actually surprisingly emotional, and
Which Dave implied, it was surprising that I had feeling, that I actually felt compassion for Native American.
Yeah, that's what Dave went. That's the first place he went.
Well, I just didn't know how to interpret that.
I'll give you my interpretation. So you don't know exactly what you're getting with this movie. You see the trailer. It looks like a murder mystery, some action, but I didn't expect to be, it was very sad, dealt a lot with grief, obviously, as we'll get into, but
Yeah.
there was some scenes that were, got a little choked up. So by surprisingly emotional, I meant that I didn't expect it to be so powerful.
The small moments.
Yeah, and the acting by Renner and everybody else was,
You could say it.
was amazing. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. So that's what I meant by surprising.
I love the arc of Elizabeth Olsen's character from start to finish. It was such a big contrast from beginning to end.
Yeah, and I think it's, again, we'll get into the plot, but the story to me is kind of about, besides grief and dealing with loss, it's about two strong women. You know what I mean? It's actually, I was thinking of this watching on a rewatch. I'm like, Elizabeth Olsen, and he gives her the speech at the end. She is really a strong woman, and obviously Natalie, who we will talk about, was a warrior, as Corey calls her.
Yep.
I'm drinking.
Yeah. It was I saw a thing where Tyler Sheridan was visited on the set by some tribal leaders who, I'm reading this off of IMDb, astonished him with the revelation that at that very time there were 12 unsolved murders of young women on a reservation and about 6,000 people.
Right. Terrible.
And you saw that stat at the end that there is no missing persons database.
Right.
The
Native American missing.
Yeah.
Or and you saw there was one line, she said, "Oh, you have 9 police officers for the size of Rhode Island." He's like, "Yep, that's what we got."
Yeah.
6 police officers. 6.
Jesus.
That was the impetus for Tyler. You have me calling him Tyler. Taylor.
My bad.
To make this movie.
Yeah.
And it was a great, it's a great, very important, and I wish it was a bigger movie instead of the other movie that Renner and Elizabeth Olsen is in.
Yeah, it's that kind of overshadows things when you get hit over the head with those movies. Those wonderful, wonderful movies.
And yeah, so it was just, I think how he shot it was amazing. I guess it was shot in Utah, but it was about the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming, and this just some great shots, and the score was fantastic.
I think I just really became a fan of Taylor Sheridan after realizing who he is. He was I watched him as he was one of the cops on Sons of Anarchy in the first few seasons. And I was like, this guy, makes movies now. And in between this and Hell and High Water and Sicario, he makes these just grounded, real movies, like about middle America people.
Right, like Western,
Yeah.
like country. Exactly.
I haven't
Very-
seen Yellowstone, but I want to watch it just because he's part of it.
It's good. I've I haven't seen the last season. My wife loves it. It's a little middle of the road, but
And did you see the his HBO Max with Angelina Jolie there?
I did. Yeah. It wasn't great,
Wasn't great.
except the great Ken Bernthal was in it, so it was worth watching.
Ken always delivers.
Yeah, no, he's delivering. In his 2-minute scene in this movie, maybe 5 minutes. It's,
Forgot. Like I'm watching it again, going, wait, that's it. That's his only scene.
and as we'll get to, you think he's going to be, the villain. You think he's going to be
Right.
and you really like him, and you're like, you want him to kill those pieces of shit.
And just a heads up to the listeners at home. One of our hosts, I think he's under the covers now. He's definitely in bed, and he's curled up. He looks
You're a
ready.
big boy. You're a big boy.
Yeah. Do you have a warm
Shut
glass
up.
of milk there, buddy?
Yeah. Let's get this going.
We're
Okay, let's
in the
go.
middle of it. It's happening. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Wind River.
All right. So, like you said, it starts saying actual events, and then it has Natalie's character, I guess, reading "A Meadow in My Perfect World," which is a poem that Corey's daughter wrote. I guess we get to that later. But and you see her reciting the poem. A tree stands tall. I'm not going to read the whole poem. Dave's like, he's already ready for bed. Shows her running in the snow. You see her running in the snow. Great shot of the moon, her running, and then you see the Wind River title. Goes to the next day, shows the wolf, and then suddenly Corey shoots it, and he's in his renters in his white camouflage. Let's see. Great shot.
Everything he did was
honestly,
cool.
hold on though. When you watch that first scene, you're like, what the fuck?
I know.
You're watching a coyote, then you see this thing blasting apart. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
No animals were hurt in the remaking of this, but except that one.
Yeah.
It was CGI. It was CGI for sure. Wink. So yeah, I know. And then he drags it, and he's goes to pick up his son. Right. So you could see immediately things are cold with his ex. I think she says, "Who's the victim today?" And he's like, "I guess it's gonna be me."
Yeah.
So, and then you don't know the story yet. He looks at a picture of what is his daughter. Obviously, you don't know what's happening yet, and he has to go to the reservation, and he's taking the son. She's like, "Don't let him out of your sight." It's pretty cool to scene with him and his son. When he's teaching him later on, he teaches him about the horse.
The horse stuff. Yep. That like
gun safety.
He was
buddy,
just- even how to carry the gun. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So she says something like, "You won't ever catch me setting foot in Pine Hill again." And so you assume something happened, right? You don't know exactly, but then he's teaching the son, like I said, teaching him about the horse. They have like ominous music. He goes to see his ex-father-in-law. This guy's great in his small role. I guess he lost a steer, and he needs to hunt the mountain lion.
So we realize that's what Jeremy Renner's character does. That's his job.
Yes, exactly. He's a hunter. He tracks them.
The predators.
Yeah. So he takes the snowmobile out. He sees there's a 2 cubs and the mother. That's to show he knows his shit.
Yeah. He's teaching them to hunt on livestock.
Pretty great
And he
shot.
felt bad for them. Like, oh.
Yeah. Exactly. Sees the blood out there. Then, and I didn't notice this the first time I watched it, but he puts on the camouflage, gets the gun out, finds the blood. It's where she first fell. Then he sees the blue jacket. He goes over to it. I didn't notice. I don't know if you noticed the first time you saw it, Dave, but I didn't even notice that he recognized her that much. He did. He does.
When he
make
went
a-
on all fours and he kind of knelt down and looked at her face, I kind of figured he knew her.
he does a great job of. He's pretty stoic,
Yeah.
but he shows a lot of emotion. Like there's many scenes, obviously, when he has tears in his eyes. But he's obviously been through a lot, so he,
Yeah.
he just doesn't break down and
Which you don't know at that point either, though. So you really don't know what this
Right. You don't
character
realize
is all about.
that's his dead daughter's best friend. And
Yeah.
same thing happened to her, or something
Exactly.
like
Which it hits you later. But so snow's coming. You see the storm coming. The police chief. They're waiting for the FBI. Snowing hard. Corey asks if they call their folks, and they're like, "Well, we don't know." And he's like, "It's definitely Natalie." So he knows her. So he has to. Right away. She's out of her element. Jane, the FBI agent, played by Elizabeth Olsen. He has to lead her over to them because she's too far away. And
Well, hold on. So when she gets there, you're already talking about when she just gets there, or where are we at?
This is when
Yes.
she gets there.
when she drives up, I'm talking.
Wind River, David. Wind River. It's the name of the movie.
Shut up. So I'm just saying when she enters that scene, her first scene, it was I actually loved it because she came in kind of like non-caring, maybe.
Like I'm the big shit sent to this little pond.
Yeah.
kinda.
Yeah. But I was talking about she didn't even know to drive over to them. You had to lead.
Yeah.
Kind of like, a little foreshadowing. David loves the foreshadow. But so Corey introduces the tribal police chief and his father-in-law. He says, "Father-in-law, he don't do nothing."
Yeah.
No, the chief says he don't do nothing, and the father-in-law says, "Yeah, we have the same job."
Yeah, that was a great line.
I believe
is that Graham Greene?
I think 34% I was reading today of Native Americans in Wind River are out of working age, which is pretty high,
Or what?
right? The
Or like
non-working
retired age?
retired
or too
age,
young
yeah.
or too old, or
No, retired age.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did not know that. Did you know that's Graham Greene from I gotta stop tisking. From
a
Dancing
million things.
Wolves. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Dancing Wolves, and so yeah, he's great in his little role as the chief, the tribal chief, police chief. So yeah, that's when she's out of. This is the scene you're talking about, Dave. She's out of her element, but she's like, "All right, where is it? Take me." She's like, "I'm cold here. They just told me I have a jet." And they're like,
Freezing my
basically-
ass off. She's basically said, "I'm freezing my ass off. Let's get this. Let's get this done."
she was sent
Exactly.
from Vegas because she was the closest one. Like they didn't care. They're like, "You're the closest. Just go check it out."
Exactly. And she's like, "Well, just take me to it." And they're like, "You're gonna freeze to death. It's 5 miles away." They're like, the police chief says you should have winter gear. She's like, she's explaining to him. She's all aggravated. You could tell. So I like this little scene when she borrows the clothes from.
Yeah.
So it's Corey's. It's the granddaughter's grandparents.
Yep.
And the mother is not too kind to her, understandably. And she's, these are my granddaughters. You bring them back. They were my granddaughters. They ain't a gift.
She's like,
She's
the,
like,
the thermals will ride up your underwear, but I guess that's not a problem for you.
Well, that's
Yes.
basically that's when you start to get a sense that no one really gives a shit about what's going on there, and they know it. So this is just a formality. Yeah, go see what's going on and go away, and nothing's gonna get resolved anyway. So
Right. As
Sure.
Ben says later, I'm used to having no help.
Yeah.
We'll get. So she borrows the clothes. They ride out. Crime scene.
But hold on, wait, you passed by a good part. I thought this was a great part. When she walks out and Corey sees her and his entire expression changes.
Right. And his daughter's clothes. It kind of just briefly, you see him.
But you're starting to get a glimpse into his character, like 'cause now you're realizing that's his daughter.
Understandably, yeah. So it kind of brings him back. So then they go out. He says it's Natalie Hanson. She's like, okay, that's enough of a ID to me. She orders a rape kit. You see the blood, and she's like, this is a homicide. She says to him, how well do you know the land? Like it's my job. She wants to know what the closest, how she could have got out there. Sam Littlefeather's closest house. They mentioned already the trailer for the oil rig is 5 miles away. Why would a teenage girl be out here barefoot? Corey explains to her, she was running until she dropped 20 below, the lungs fill up with blood. I forget the exact. She ran all the way here.
Crystallizes or something. Yeah, they were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and you drown in your own blood. And she says, how far could someone run? How far could someone survive in that cold? It's like you can't gauge someone's will to live, which is obviously foreshadowing again. Says, I know that girl, she's a fighter. No matter how far you think she ran, I can guarantee you she ran further.
Oh, that was a great line. He had so many great lines in this movie.
And he's so good, and he says it so
believable. Yeah.
Very stoic.
Very stoic.
He asks if you can help her. He's like, I hunt predators. She's like, well, why don't you come hunt one for me? So they show him at night making his bullets. I actually was reading about this. It's like that gun is very rare that he has, and they don't make them with high enough pressure that he would have, so he has to make them higher pressurized. I'm sure my buddy who's a gun enthusiast, Mikey, edit that out.
I won't, but it's funny. At dinner tonight, Dave was talking about how he wants to go shooting.
We'll be like, oh, what an idiot. So supposedly he's making his bullets to, get a different pressure.
Well, they definitely work.
Yeah, they definitely work. Exactly. Mikey, spoilers. All right, so let's see. Oh, so the son wakes up, sees him, and he says, asks him who the girl was, because the son, obviously sees her, and she's a girl who lost her way in the snow. Apparently he didn't know her. He didn't tell him who she was. Yeah. He said, did she die like Emily? She died in the cold, so yeah, she died like Emily. Ugh. And then the medical examiner is next. That guy's pretty good. He's been in a few things.
Yeah.
And he's like, pulmonary hemorrhage caused by cold. And he says, it's not a homicide, right? And they go back and forth because she's like, they're not gonna give me help out here if you don't assign it as a homicide. And he's like, we all know it's murder, but I can't put it on the sheet, on the death certificate.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know why. Just like, I was like, yeah, you just can't, because she died from what she died from.
Exactly.
Well, he was doing his job.
Exactly.
But this is when Elizabeth Olsen's character started really getting involved and caring about what the hell was going on there. Mm-hmm. So she was.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, you got a sense that guy knows the bullshit that he has to deal with, but he's like, we have to go about it this way. And she's like, she does, she does want to cut through the bullshit, and she does want to help. And
the chief acknowledged that. He's like, thanks for your passion. I understand, but he's doing his job.
Appreciate your compassion.
Yeah.
So the next scene at the parents' house, at Natalie's parents' house. This is one of my. It's like tough. It's rough to watch, but it's like I love every scene with Martin and Corey.
Yep.
And she says something, I forget. Why would you let your daughter out? And then he's distraught, and he's like, she said this is the actor, I forget his name, he was also in, what's the other Taylor shirt? What's the Hell and High Water?
Hell and High Water, yeah.
He was great in that. So he's awesome in this. And he's like, I chose to trust her, I chose wrong. And she's like, well, first he says, why is it that anytime you people want to help, you start off with an insult? Because she says something pretty insulting.
Yeah, she was like, he's barely an adult. Like, she was a little too critical.
Yeah, so he gives her a couple of little digs, and she's like, where's your wife? I want to talk to your wife. And he was like, oh, be my guest. She's in the bedroom. And it's like,
cutting herself,
but just,
brutal.
Completely grief stricken, and she's like, well, I'm sorry. He's like, see, I told you. Oh yeah, and Ben was like, no, Jane. He does a little finger wag. No, you don't want to do that. And this scene really got to me. It's just Corey knocks on the door, opens the door, and you don't know that he knows him really. You know he knows the girl, and he just falls apart and hugs Corey.
Yep.
You know, and Ren is so good. He's just like, he's there for him, and he's not
their shared grief.
Right. He's gone through so much grief. He just, he's not like falling apart, but and then Ben closes the door, and you could tell Jane like seems a little shaken up. She's like, that's rough, terrible to see. She doesn't know the story with Corey yet, but
right.
Sweating my ass off, yeah.
It's 1,000 degrees out.
It is 1,000 degrees in this room too. The door's closed. Like I said, movies about grief. It's definitely one of the main themes.
What he said, are you there to help him? Or are you there to guide him?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what they're telling me. That's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he first says, he gives him a little speech. I like to tell you it gets easier, but it don't. And then the little story about what the counselor told him.
Just wanted the bad to go away. Wanted answers to questions that couldn't be answered. The counselor came up to me after the seminar and sat down next to me. He said something that stuck with me. I don't know if it's what he said or it's how he said it. He says, I got some good news, and I got some bad news. Bad news is you're never going to be the same. You're never going to be whole. Not ever again. You lost your daughter, and nothing's ever going to replace that. Now, the good news is, as soon as you accept that, and you let yourself suffer, you allow yourself to visit her in your mind. You'll remember all the love she gave, all the joy she knew. Point is, Martin, you can't steer from the pain. If you do, you'll rob yourself. You'll rob yourself of every memory of her. Every last one. From her first step to her last smile. Kill them all. Let's take the pain, Martin. You hear me? You take it.
He says you can't steer from the pain. You'll rob yourself of every memory of her. Oh, and he says her first step to her last. That's tough to think about her last step, But honestly, this performance by Renner is up there with the town as his great performances. And I have written down about Renner's great performances. You say one fucking word about Hawkeye, Mikey.
I'm
kidding you.
Look, he's good in it because he's good. whatever the rest is going on, he's always good.
I know. So he's great, but he really does a great performance. That's a great performance. And then he's like, "Take the pain, Martin." And right, what you do now is for your boy, Martin. Corey tells him, and you're kind of like, is he talking about himself?
Right.
Because he son left. They each have a son left. And he's like, "What are you doing with them?" "I'm a hunter, Martin."
You driving this vet around so she don't get lost? Is that it?
That's what they asked me to do. It's not what I'm doing.
Then what are you doing?
I'm a hunter, Martin. What do you think I'm doing?
If you find out who did this, I don't care who it is. You understand me? Right where they stand.
Get off my porch and go do it.
Now get off of my porch and go do it. Right. He's like, start smoking a butt. I just,
Awesome.
right. One of my favorite scenes, maybe my favorite scene. Then they go to the little feather place. And she's like, do we need backup? This isn't the land of backup, Jane. This is, you're on your own.
Crazy.
Sam, he's all messed up, right? He doesn't even recognize. They're like, who are you? Are you Sam? He's like, and Ben is giving him little digs, and then he's like, oh, I got something for you.
It
Sprays
pulled out
them.
whatever the hell that was.
Spray.
Pepper spray.
It was definitely like pepper spray.
And you get a little taste of the badassness of Corey. Smacks one with a shovel.
Very,
He knew it was coming.
calm.
He anticipated it.
He just goes, picks
He
up the
anticipated the whole
shovel.
thing.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Knew
That's
it.
why you see like the trailer. He's like, this guy's a badass, and you just didn't know exactly what type of movie it was.
Yeah.
So it was surprisingly emotional.
Okay, but Elizabeth also badass in the scene too. Really, just going in that house.
She was, yeah. So she's stumbling around. The music's building. He shoots at her. Empties the clip in him.
Empty. I was boom, every
Empties.
shot. And then she's like, he's
He
called
called the
her.
hospital. You gotta get him to the hospital. He's like,
Yeah.
leave him. He's dead.
EMS will be here. What is it? 2
Yeah,
hours?
an hour.
Yeah, an hour, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So they go outside. This scene is great too. Surprisingly emotional. The brother, right?
Yeah.
The brother is one of the scumbags that. Oh, that's why I forgot to mention. Martin was like, I already lost my son.
Drugs.
You know what I
yep.
mean? He's selling drugs, so it's like he's gone too. And what's his name? He says, "What did that cracker do?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" She was seeing a white guy.
Cracker?
Yeah.
But
he's like,
she's dating a cracker?
yeah, very, very literal, that girl. She
Yeah.
doesn't know the expression. Is it a Ritz? No. So he says, what do you mean was? Because she says he was seeing a white
Right.
guy. What do you mean was? Good job by that guy, as David yawns. He's like, what do you mean was? And then Corey tells him she was raped and killed. I found her. He's like, what?
Yeah. Did he say like son? Did he say she was raped and killed son? Like that? I don't know.
Something
Well,
like that.
He's known these kids his whole life.
Yeah.
Their whole lives, yeah.
Like he's like, he could have done well. He has a conversation and he could have done better.
Yep.
So then
Well,
he
you kind
shows,
of feel like what a brutal existence that area is, though.
yeah.
In that scene.
Well, they even
You
say they try to go to jail on purpose. You know,
Yeah.
3 hours a day, and
TV.
yep. And Chip talks about it later, how rough it is. But the next scene, okay, Corey shows Jane about tracking, takes her out. Let's see. This is when they find Matt's body. I guess they find
Right.
right.
Now, did you know it was Matt's body as soon as you
I could
saw
tell by
that?
the bone. Yeah, I could tell by the bone structure.
Yeah. He said that looks like Ken's ass.
I said, wait, is that Lee Iacocca? So
Podcast callback. All the hardcore
Give me off
listeners
the
get
bar.
it.
yeah, they get that. Let me know if I
Big
should.
yawn.
Let me
Keep
know
those
if I
eyes
shouldn't do
open,
that.
David. Keep those eyes open.
I go charge your phone, guys. I'm listening.
You're charging your phone. You should charge yourself.
Yeah. Good.
So it's night. Ben says they'll go to the rig in the morning. She wants to talk to the kids. Because you know, whenever Corey wants to talk to them, she says we can't use whatever you say. Don't even talk to him. That's when he talks to Chip, and he says, "This place takes from us." And Chip says, "What's this we shit?" And he says, "The only thing native about you is your ex-wife and your daughter you couldn't protect," which was the wrong thing to say.
Bash
Corey-
his face right in.
That is not something you can ever talk about.
And the kid kind of knew it. He almost like, he's like, yeah, I went too far.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because you see, he's known this guy his whole life too.
Yeah, and then he's like, God, he's like, you chose. You could have went to the military. You could have gone to school. God damn you. He's like, you chose to stay. And
They
then the
say,
guys,
this place is killing us. He goes, and you're selling the shit that's killing everybody.
yeah, exactly. So he starts to walk away, and the guy says, he says, he's almost old as you. He says, I met him. He goes, I met him. He's almost as old as you. He works security in one of them drill sites. Matt something. I actually love this little line before he leaves Chip. He says, I get so mad I want to fight the world. You have any idea how that feels? And he's like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And he's like, I decided to fight the feeling instead because I figured the world would win. So
great line.
That was a great line.
It was. Corey says he'll be looking tomorrow when they're at the rig. Goes to his ex, brings it, he's like, brings it all back, doesn't it? She's like, you're not getting the answers you're looking for no matter how this turns out, So Jane stays at Corey's. She's looking at the picture and there's like, that's my daughter, Emily. She passed away 3 years ago. He tells her, you probably want to know how. That makes two of us.
That is a tough scene for like any parent, like especially if a daughter, even like my daughter's 25 years old, so I still want to know where she is. So you can only imagine where this guy's feeling, having lost his teenage daughter.
Okay, we're back. You were saying, Dave, with your daughter.
I would have to get.
You still worry about where she is all the time.
Yeah, so I can only imagine when Jeremy Renner's feeling when his own daughter passes away and he doesn't know what happened. That's gotta be.
God, yeah,
that is the most.
Or Jerry Rummy.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Scary feeling. Any parent.
I don't even let that go into my mind. But right, how terrible that would be. He's at some peace. Like he took that counselor's advice. You could tell the fact that he can even function. But yes, he tells him that right. He breaks up when he's telling her about it. He's like, I want to know, you probably want to know what happened. That makes two of us. She was 16 at a party. I don't know. That's a lot. I don't know. Got a phone call from Natalie. And he's all broken up and, she's a good girl. You can't let your guard down for 1 minute. And she's like, she has no idea what to say. She's like, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom. And she's broken up a little, you could tell.
She just goes to collect herself.
Yep. And then she sees the poem, Meadow in the Perfect World. And which is great.
And another great line.
Yep. She says, is that to you? And he's like, it doesn't matter who it's to, just matters who it's from.
Yeah,
like, man, he's smooth.
Yes. So, and then she says, you could tell me what Chip said. He said, all he said was Natalie's boyfriend's name was Matt. You already know that. So,
because they ID the body, right? Yeah.
So she now knows why he's helping her, because of his daughter and his relationship with Natalie's father and Natalie, I guess, So let's see. She sees the poem. We already said that. Next morning, I actually have trouble watching like the next scene. Like, even though the great Ken Bernathel's in it.
So this is where they played a little switcheroo on us.
They do. It's so well done. So they all meet up. I love the deputy. He looks like Tony Romo. The guy I'm talking about. He's like, I love all the tribal.
Oh yeah.
And so they go, and Corey's going to look at the tracks while they do that. And they're all driving out, and something's going to happen. The score is getting cool. Score is getting
tense.
Very, very tense. Yeah, ominous. They're driving to the trailers, back and forth. So they ask if Matt Rayburn works there. I hate that scumbag who's in charge.
Oh,
he's great at it though. He's like, oh, you looking for Matt? And he's like, well, you two all look torn up. He's like, yeah, lady, if you hit branches if you knew. So they have a little conversation about that.
Yeah, the chief kind of points out why you guys not wearing goggles.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we're waiting for them. We wish we had helmets. And
yeah, they
had good answers for them, but
they said, headquarters from Texas. That's where they don't know.
So they go back to Corey. He sees the mountain lion, and And then that's when he notices the tracks.
Yeah,
right?
because he was about to kill them, wasn't he? He was like, "Oh, bad day for you guys," but they lucked out.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then
That's when he realized that those guys were part of that whole scene.
right. They see this. He sees the tracks going right from the rig.
Yeah.
Right up to where the body was.
So at first you're thinking he's not even close to these guys and they're by themselves, but then you're realizing, okay, he's right on them. Which I thought there was a lot of foreshadowing, to be honest with the mountain lions, to be honest. But as you realize later on, that nothing happened. What do you mean? What do I mean?
Foreshadowing.
Explain the foreshadowing of the mountain lions.
I will when we get to it.
Okay, we already got to it. The mountain lions.
Oh, the mountain lions are lived, right? So they didn't die.
That's my
as far as we know. What?
That's what I assume.
Yes. So let's keep going. I'll explain what I'm talking about later.
All right, so we'll go back. So they're back to the rig.
Okay, I think I know where you're going.
So they asked how they knew the girlfriend was missing, because he's like, "Oh, we heard her name on the radio." She's like,
"Yeah." They said she called saying he was missing. He goes, "Really? Because we heard that you found her."
Yeah, they're like, "We didn't say her name," and you could tell something's up. And the Tony Romo guy's great. Why are you flanking me?
What the fuck are you doing? What? Why are you flanking me?
What are you talking about?
What the fuck do you think I'm talking about? You got us on three sides, man.
Stand up that weapon. This is private property.
Fucking gun down! Put the fucking gun down right now!
Put it down. Yell it.
Turn away from me. Drop to your knees right now.
Evan, fuck you. It's Department of Energy lease on reservation land, asshole. You're breaking the law by being. You got no authority.
You think I don't know what you're doing?
You got no authority. You're in violation of federal law. Lower your weapon.
Fuck you. You got us in a crossfire.
Fucking do it, asshole. See what happens.
Okay, hey, white boy, let's go.
What are we doing?
Hey, FBI! This is federal land and I am the only authority. All of you stand down. Okay, everyone, take your hands away from your weapons. Look.
How's your weapon? Fucking decaf, man. Jesus fucking Christ. All right, every one of you, step to my left. Let's go.
Nobody behind me, do you understand?
You got it, asshole. Guys, step my way. Everybody take a big, deep breath here, please.
Deputy, holster your weapon.
You didn't see it? You didn't see it.
That was fucking huge. Because he even
it.
asked Elizabeth Olsen, "Did you not see that? Did you not
Yes.
see it?"
Exactly.
Well,
Well, they all draw. It's intense. Nobody has it. They all draw on each other. She's like, FBI, federal land. I'm the only authority. Yeah, it's getting all tense. Everybody's saying back down. Ben's yelling at his guys, holster your weapons. And she's like, and that's when Tony Romo's like, you didn't see that? You didn't see what he was doing? He knows.
What did he see? Like that? Because did you see what he saw?
No, you'd have.
He's a trained. I'm gonna guess he was like probably in the service.
Some flanking motion where the two guys go around two sides.
Right.
Try it
He
out.
just realized he was being surrounded.
Right. So that's when they're like, okay, just take us to Matt's trailer. They're like, you need try decaf. That fucking jerk. And does she walk?
I hated them all. I fucking hated every one of them.
I know. You can't help it. I hate these scumbags. So, and then she walks to the trailer. So great. She knocks, and it cuts to, I have written down, the great Ken Bernthal.
Right. So we know this guy Matt is gone. So we don't know who this guy is at first.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if he's a little evil or if he's responsible.
We assume he's going to go answer the door to
Jane.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Right. And then you see Natalie, so it's a flashback. That's all. That little scene is great. He's like, you're such a badass.
And you realize, he's a good guy.
Yeah, you do. You're like, oh, you wish he would kill all those motherfuckers. And he talks about a great place. He says, Ojai, is that what he's talking about?
Yep. He had the best Christmas of his life.
Yeah, it's kind of like talking about the poem, where I'll see you later and I have a special place, kind of like that. And then the assholes come back from drinking, and she changes. Scumbag Pete comes in, and Matt's like, he's like, could you come get him? You get so pissed, you're like,
Yeah,
because
he's get him out of here, please.
Yeah, he's like, well, he's like, I don't know why, Kurt, could you come get him? He's like, I don't know why you're not coming in here and getting him.
I love that actor, and I don't know why he always has smaller parts in big movies. Well, not big movies, but he always has smaller parts. He's such a good actor.
You talking about Ken Bernthal?
Yeah.
It will always be forever Ken.
John Bernthal. He's awesome. He's awesome.
He's awesome.
I mean, we've talked about him, but he's great. He's great in this.
Just the just the pure ferocious behavior from just beating the shit out of all those guys.
Well, he kicks the guy.
Headbutting and fucking punching and stomping.
Kurt doesn't come in and get the guy, so he kicks him high, he goes down. Then the guy comes in, he tackles him back. So, and she smacks him. You know, that's you know. So Matt's not.
That was such a tense scene.
But you get so mad, and Pete pulls her pants down first, and then Matt comes in and beats the. Matt would have killed if there were 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You just get the sense he would have beat the shit out of them, and then Pete gets mad, the piece of shit that he is, and rapes her.
Right. Is Matt dead already, or is he just knocked out?
Not dead.
Knocked out. He's knocked out.
He's like, now I'm gonna kill you. You know, you get that sense where he's like, now I'm gonna kill you, and he comes in, you know, like a maniac, and she walks up, and that's tough seeing because he's like, he knows he'll beat the to death. Right. They're gonna beat him to death, and he looks at her and he's like, go, because she looks back at him and he's like,
yeah,
she like doesn't want to leave him, but she does.
And then they go back to run.
Yeah, and then they go back to the present, and Jane's at the door. And I love this. Kurt says, "Hey, Pete, Kurt, you know, this is Curtis, FBI standing in front of the door." And Ben knows that little signal.
FBI, open up!
Are you sure someone's in there?
Copy.
FBI standing in front of the door. Open up.
Jane, get away from the door!
She's like, Jane, get away from the door. She shot down last.
Right through. And then mayhem ensues.
Mayhem. They all open up, they start shooting, and
was there no music? I like when they have like violence.
Might be right.
No music, just the gunshots.
And then the game changer, the asshole comes, you know, has a machine gun, and he shoots most of them. You see Ben die.
Yeah.
And then the scumbag, the Romo guy, is all shot up, but he's trying to shoot the guy, and the guy
he says, "Let's do this."
Pats him.
Yeah, he says, as he's loading the Romo guy, as he's loading, as soon as he reloads, he's like, "Let's do this." So the guy still has he still has intensity behind what he's doing.
I know.
I love that. I love that scene. That was perfect.
I know. And then the guy kills him. He pats him. And Kurt's about to kill her. He's like, the woman out here.
Yeah.
This is blasted. This is with, you know, high pressure bullets.
Love it.
Fucking guy rocks them all back. Rocks every one of them.
See the 2 guys, and you see the guy in the machine gun, boom, gets blown out.
It was like made to take down elephants or something. I mean, Jesus.
Okay, all right. Let's some time out though. Of all the movies we've done, I think this is my favorite scene of all of them. I'm not kidding. I was so enraged by what I just saw before.
There's no way that's true. I love this scene, but there's no way that's true.
Okay, for me it is, because I look at it thinking, okay, if that was, God forbid, my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all fucking there. I wanted nothing but just complete chaos for all their lives.
What about when George Bailey is running on the bridge?
No, we can't compare. We can't compare the two.
You just said out of all the movies we did.
This is the most gratifying.
What about the USS Indianapolis speech?
No, this is the most gratifying. Watching them all die was
not
so
gratifying.
What about when Peter met Spider-Gwen or Miles met Spider-Gwen?
Okay, shut the fuck up, all of you. Go ahead, keep going.
Those are shout outs to our listeners. So, yeah, and then Pete kicks out the window. Pete is such a scumbag. Runs away. She shoots him. And so Corey shows up, he brings her inside. You're injured. She's like, "Hey, give me a radio. I need a helicopter." And he's like, "I won't bring him back. You have to."
That was great because I won't. She's like, "Go."
Like, I do. And then you see Pete's point. Oh, so Pete's all confused. You see his point of view. He's all confused in the trees, and Corey comes. He's a hunter. He knows what he's doing. Knocks him out. Mm-hmm. So he wakes up. Corey has him all tied up. No boots on, right? He's like, what the fuck?
Okay.
This is when this weasel admits to everything.
Pretty good acting, though, from that little scumbag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is great. He's a little okay, well, I'll get to it. So Corey's like, "I'll give you a chance. I'm not the law. You can tell me the truth. You can tell me the truth. I'll give you a chance." What did you take? When he's like, "People will force in," and the guy's like, "It's a long way." I don't even know if this guy would have admitted to all,
Yeah.
But Corey did. Corey does need to know this, Or you obviously you want to know this. Well, we do know it because we saw the flashback. But he's like, "I want you to be honest." He's like, "I raped her." It's like, and then he's like, "I beat him dead." Right?
Such a hillbilly.
He's like, "Oh, I told you I'd get to give you a chance. I'm gonna give you the same chance she got. 6 miles barefoot. That's a warrior." He goes, "You may make it 100 feet." That's when he cuts cuts him loose, shoots next to his ear.
Okay.
"I want you to run."
This is what I thought. This is when I thought the mountain lion was gonna kill the guy. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, he thought the mountain lion was gonna come back and.
Yeah, because they already showed the tracks. I'm like, all right, then it's around that area.
That would have been like Marvel movie-esque.
Yeah, that would have been.
Okay, I would have loved it just from the. I wanted this guy dead. I want this guy dead so like in the most harsh way.
He does die. He drowns in his own blood about less than 600 feet. So Corey's
because the guy was a gigantic pussy.
Right.
Yep.
So Corey's this is where he's so next scene. Corey's at the hospital with Jane. She's like, "You saved my life." And he's like, "You saved your own life. You're a tough woman." This is the speech that made me think this is about two strong women.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You fought for your life. Now you got to walk away with it."
And that's when she realized Natalie couldn't walk away, but she ran those fucking 6 miles, and that's just unheard of.
And this scene is great. She's like, she's crying. She ran 6 miles on the snow, and you see him. He's like, you could tell he's like, but he smiles. He's like, "Yeah, she did." Yeah.
They're like, she is badass.
Yeah, she's a warrior.
Now, were they in love, you think?
No.
Not at all.
I know you wanted it. I know that night when she came over, you were hoping for it.
He probably she reminds him of Natalie and maybe his daughter. He doesn't really talk about it. So no, that would have kind of ruined it if they had one of Dave's 6 scenes in it. Where they have a threesome with and a mountain lion or something.
Pinky. That's the sequel Dave's gonna write.
Yeah. I only said it because he was about to. So then Corey goes to their house, the parents, and you can't help but worry. You're like, something's happened.
I thought they were both I thought they'd be upstairs like dead, like they, OD'd or something, killed themselves.
He doesn't see them anywhere, and finally he finds the mother in Natalie's bed. He puts the blanket on her. That's when this is where he sees a picture of Natalie and Emily. And like I said, his acting in this movie is sublime. You see like just tears in his eyes. Like he doesn't he just sees that and he's like, I'm glad I at least could get Natalie. At least we have some closure with her.
I'm sure of closure, yeah.
And then he sees Martin outside with the face paint, sits with him. And he's like, what's with the paint? It's his death face. I made it up. It's a nice ending. He says the phone rang, Chip called, first time in over a year. So he's I'm gonna pick him up.
First I gotta wipe this shit off my face.
Yeah. And heard about what happened. One's still missing, and he's like, no one's missing.
Now the next how do you go out?
He already said. Yep. How do you go out?
How do you go out with the whimper?
Yeah.
Fucking loved it.
Exactly.
Like
Asked
he
him
didn't
if-
say, no, I got him. He just said, nobody's missing. Just that way of,
asked him if he'll sit with him for a minute. I ain't going nowhere. Just powerful. And then you see the closing credits. You see no stats for Native American women. It's sad, but a fantastic movie. Honestly, I've seen it. I've seen it
Gut-wrenching, but fantastic.
It was gut wrenching. I know it's hard to watch at times.
it received
But,
an 8-minute standing ovation when it was in Cannes.
It was, I watched it twice in basically a day, 24 hours.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
It wasn't
It's probably one of my-
nominated for any Oscars. It did win a bunch of indie awards, and it won there was an Indian film festival. It won Best Picture for that. Any guesses on the Rotten Tomatoes score? We didn't talk
87.
Sorry, it was 86.
You looked it up.
I'm always
David?
off by one. What is it?
David, it's 87.
Oh,
I won.
You won. You got. Oh, I thought maybe you cheated. Very good.
No, I won. You got it.
Well, he probably looked it up yesterday, but
No, I saw it. Yes, I saw it yesterday. Yeah, I did.
It won a bunch of things at Cannes or Cannes. It won a bunch of film festival things, but it.
I just,
didn't-
just an important movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And was so well done. I think it's underrated. I mean, it's not talked about enough.
It definitely isn't.
One of my favorites. Glad you guys liked it.
That's a great movie. I
Very much
appreciate the call out for me to watch it. I love that. I think that's what I like most about this whole thing. So if I haven't seen a movie yet, it's kind of nice to.
But next
Good.
time,
Watch it.
it's a movie we've all seen. And I think we enjoyed Jeremy Renner so much that I said, let's do it again. Let's watch another movie with him.
He was great in this one too.
Yes.
Wait, you're talking about the Avengers, right?
I'm talking about Avengers Endgame.
No.
No, I'm talking about a little film directed and written. Was it directed by Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
I
It
don't
was
have
based
the
on-
year in front of me. It was based on a book, you say?
It's a 2010 film.
2010. Thank you.
And whose car are we going to take? That's all I have to ask.
Exactly. We're doing The Town. So expect me to do some terrible Boston accent, even though
So we can
sometimes
just
words
talk
come
like
out.
we always- Sorry.
Yeah, I already sometimes, or just like Chris talk. Yeah, you'll just do the whole thing. Just
Yeah. He's saying
So,
I have an accent.
no, never. I didn't. I never thought I had it. So I think we nailed it. I think we did
we
it.
did.
Are there any closing thoughts, Christopher? Any closing thoughts to talk about this evening? Anything you want to say?
Anything I want to say? Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
You're always good at remembering that. Fine_movies on Twitter and Fine Movies, Fine Spirits on Instagram. David, any closing thoughts, or are you just going to hunker down and get some rest, go to bed?
I'm gonna go to bed, so I have no thoughts.
No
when do I
thoughts?
have thoughts? When do I have thoughts?
Oh wait,
I do have one.
Chris has.
I do have one. I do have one thing. Not that you're going to be announcing future episodes, but we will be doing in the fall. We do have stuff planned for the fall, Halloween season, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
We're going to be very thematic.
What,
Yeah, I
you know,
got-
can we do it with eggnog? Like legit eggnog.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
I'll bring the laptop, bring the microphone. We'll do it.
We'll sleep in we'll sleep in our old bedrooms downstairs.
Sounds like a plan.
All
Goodbye,
right, David.
guys.
Say
What?
goodbye, David.
Goodbye.
We talk about great movies while drinking. We talk about great movies while drinking. Yeah, we talk about great movies while drinking. And we feel fine.
going to be a wonderful.
A wonderful reunion. What about a wonderful reunion?
Mikey, edit that out. We're not going to drop it.
It's a wonderful reunion.
Hey, are you serious?
What?
So about 2 weeks ago, I said that like I thought I came up with a great idea. It's a wonderful reunion. And then Chris sends me a text that was like 2 months earlier. He goes, we should call it It's a Wonderful Reunion. So all three of us, we're all on this text chain.
So we're all on the same page.
Oh, thank God
We're
I
gonna
have
do it
the ending
live.
now.
We're going to do it live.
Fans, not experts.